What's up, guys? I'm out here outside, fucking bored out of my mind, man. I just moved. I haven't made a video on this channel in a while, but I'm gonna decide to do something different on this channel. I want to talk about video games. I know I mentioned in some other videos I was, but I'm finally getting on that. So I'm gonna be talking about PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. What really was the best system? You know, what really had the upper hand? Was it the Xbox 360 or was it the PlayStation 3? Now, if you ask a lot of people, you know, of course it's going to be really split because some people are PlayStation fans and some people, you know, Xbox, you know, Microsoft fans. But I think with the Xbox 360, in my opinion, you know, I own both. You know, I've owned both systems at a certain point in time, but I definitely played the Xbox 360 way more over the PlayStation 3. And I think the PlayStation 3 that I did have, actually, the only one I did have, I had one PlayStation 3, and that was the system that could play PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and of course PlayStation 3. I had that one. And, you know, maybe just be a part of, you know, maybe because I didn't get into PlayStation 3 that much. But I don't think that's true at all. I mean, if you go back and you look at, you know, things that, you know, both systems did offer, you know, you can say that, you know, PlayStation 3 had free online, or, you know, an Xbox 360, you know, you did have to pay for online. And those things are both true. I guess it is a positive for PlayStation. Like, that was the deal. You know, that was good. You know, you didn't have to pay. You know, but I hate to say it, and I don't want to be like an asshole or anything, but like, if that really pushed you that far away from wanting to play Xbox just because you didn't want to pay for online, that's sad. And, you know, I get it. Like, we don't have, everybody isn't made of money, but that's just sad. And then, like, you could say that is a positive, but for Xbox, if you look at all these legendary games that came out for it, I mean, you know, Xbox 360 was just the peak of it. I mean, Gears of War, I mean, Halo, I mean, what's another series that's only on Xbox? Yeah, there's I think there's one of them I'm thinking of, but I just can't get it out of my head. But, you know, Gears of War and Halo, those were two amazing games for Xbox. I mean, look at PlayStation. Yeah, you had Uncharted. Yeah, you had Infamous 2. Also, and you had God of War. God of War is amazing. That's one great fucking thing about PlayStation. I loved God of War. You know, and not just God of War for PS4 like everybody talks about now. No, God of War 1, 2, 3, God of War Ghost of Sparta, God of War Chains of Olympus. I mean, all those games were amazing. I tried it, God of War Ascension. I did not like it too much. But, you know, looking at both these systems, you know, they both had great games. Like I said, Gears of War, amazing. I was a huge fan of Gears of War. I played all of them, you know, from 1, 2, 3, Judgment. And I even liked Judgment. I was playing that for a while, and, you know, I tried, you know, and then I kind of stopped around Gears of War 4. I know they have Gears 5 out now, but I don't really play that much. But, you know, and looking at Halo, I mean, you have Halo 3, it had such they came out with Halo 3 Xboxes, you know, that for the release day of Xbox, you know, Halo 3 came out, you know, with the Xbox, you know, that was just such an amazing game for its time, you know, for when it came out. You know, and I mean, for God of War 3, I mean, that was an amazing game for PlayStation. When that came out for PlayStation 3, like, that really, you know, did very well as very well too. But, you know, and I mean, I know Infamous did really good as well, and Uncharted did too. But, you know, I'm more of an Xbox fanboy, and they both have the positives and negatives. I mean, people love Halo, you know, and there's people that are diehard Gears of War fans, and they love those games, you know. And, but yeah, I you know, those are definitely the two really good things about both systems. Those are, you know, the system-only games, you know, for Xbox has Gears of War, Halo, PlayStation has God of War, Uncharted, Infamous, on and on. But yeah, you know, that's a hard one. I say that's almost... I feel like, I don't know, I mean, an Xbox fanboy, it's almost hard to say, because I mentioned 3 series for PlayStation and just 2 series for Xbox, but I almost want to say it's almost like a tie, but at the same time, I almost want to give it to Xbox, because Halo was just an amazing, like, game series, and it's just so big. And also, I think out of all those games, I mean, I think God of War was pretty big for a while, but I think, you know, Uncharted is really up there. I think God of War and Uncharted were kind of on the same kind of level. And Infamous was also really fun, too. I don't know, it's really hard to say. But both of these game systems had really good things. If you really think about it, though, when the Xbox did come out, it did have the Red Ring of Death, and that was just such a fucking horrible thing to have for the Xbox, the Red Ring of Death. That was terrible. If you look at the PlayStation, the PlayStation was loud when it did run, but it didn't really overheat, really like the Xbox Ring of Death. I'll give it to the PlayStation, the first release of console was better than the Xbox. I'll give them that. But, after, 2-3 years, they came out, with a better console. I think it might have been longer than that, actually. Whatever, 2, 3, 4 years, I think. But it did come eventually out with a better console. And, so, more or less, you did just have to watch how many hours you would be playing on Xbox. You kind of wanted to put it on a surface that, it could air out. And also, you wanted to make sure you didn't probably play more than 3 hours at a time, I'd say. 3 hours, max 2-3 hours. I think PlayStation has the upper hand for that. But, comparing both these systems and really the impact that they had, I think Xbox, just had, even though, PlayStation, they did, of course they had a lot of players, Xbox really had that, so it was a really good, I feel like the online was a lot better than PlayStation's, even though PlayStation was free. And I feel like, even if you, whatever, if something is free, yeah, it could be decent, it could be all right, but something that you pay for is usually better. Let's just be honest with it, okay? Usually something you pay for compared to something that's free, like I said, it could be all right, I'll give you some nicks and crannies that are cool about it, but paying for something usually is a lot better, and you usually just get better things from it, a better experience from it. But I think Xbox, the online was just a lot better than PlayStation's. I felt that, for a while they had Xbox, they still have it, the free games with gold. That was just such a, huge thing. People, you're paid for Xbox Live, you were a gold member, and you're able to get a free game every month. And then they switched it to, I think, 2 games a month, one on the 1st, and then one on the 15th. And, that was just such a remarkable thing about it. I feel like the online for Xbox was a lot better than PlayStation's. I felt like it was just better, and so that was pretty much it. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much what it is. But anyways, looking at all the other things about both systems, they were, I can't really say they were bulky because both systems were bulky, and they still are, but looking at both these systems, it really is hard to really say which one, would you rather, play, or which one would you rather pick. It's a hard one, but of course, maybe more of a PlayStation fan or more of an Xbox fan, you would probably pick, your favorite system over the other. But, I just really do think that Xbox kind of took the upper, it took, came in first place. I think Xbox is a better system than PlayStation. And I know other people want to talk about the graphics. That's another thing I can mention. Remembering the graphics and everything, I think it was pretty similar. You're gonna see that both systems are in competition. Both companies are in competition with each other. So, it's gonna be very similar in ways. There might be one thing that is very noticeable about than the other, but more or less, both systems are going to have good things about them for the